Welcome back to Talk Local to Me. I am your co-host, Heather Alto.
And this is Diane Erb, your other co-host, and thank you for listening today.
We are in the studio with Katie Mayo with the Amherst County Chamber of Commerce. How are you?
Hello, how are you all?
And we are really excited to have her here with us today. And we're going to be talking to Dave McCormick with Waukesha Development about a lot of projects that he has kind of in the works throughout Bedford.
He's a busy guy, yeah.
Yeah, he is really busy. And so we're going to be talking to him about what he has going on. We're going to be talking with Katie about what Amherst Chamber has going on and the collaborative things that we do together. And then
We'll probably be pulling Woody in for a couple of different things, so pay attention over there.
I'm here.
wake up. So, but first of all, I just want to get started and thank our sponsor. So, Sunburst Vinyl is our show sponsor, and they are ready to help you with your home improvement needs. So, if you are looking for more information on their top quality windows, doors, or vinyl siding projects, please contact them at 434-525-5577, or you can go to their showroom. They are located right off of 460 at 1731 Sunburst Road in Evington. And I'm hoping that we're actually going to have Sammy from Sunburst here in the next week or so, because we're going to chat with him a little bit more about what they do, because they do so much more than vinyl. You look at it and you say Sunburst Vinyl, but they have such an expansive list of things that they can do for your home or new construction, all that stuff. So thank you so much to Sunburst Vinyl Supply for being our show sponsor this month. And now, before we get all up into business,
Life.
and life, I want to talk about basketball for a second.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So
Cut
it's
her
March.
mic off.
Nope.
Cut it off.
Nope. It is March Madness, and I have to bring it up because Katie's here, and so Katie is a fan of the team in Virginia, in which should not be named. If you're thinking of
The more superior institution in
Okay,
Virginia, is that
We're going to
is that
lose
where you're going?
listeners.
sit down. Anyway, so but everyone knows I'm a huge UVA fan, but neither of our teams
Made it past the first round.
did fantastic.
I told you
in-
I'm pretending there was no tournament. I don't know what you're talking about actually.
So I'm a huge basketball fan. I'm a huge NCAA. I love it. It's probably my favorite time of year. And when it got canceled last year, I wanted to cry.
I remember that.
Because we were at the Empower
Yes,
luncheon.
yes.
And they came through and they were like, oh, COVID, there's nothing. ACC tournament was canceled.
It felt like just like it was like deflated. Like everything just like the air went out. I mean, given everything that was going on, it was like
I wanted to sit in the corner and suck my thumb because that's how I felt. Like I was a baby about that whole situation. But I was so excited for it to come back this year. And now it is a mess. I mean, my bracket, I have never seen so much red.
but in the same time, it's kind of exciting. I mean, granted, it sucks when your team loses, for lack of a better word, but it's also really exciting to see the upsets.
It is. I will say I was pulling for Oral Roberts. That was a good one.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be, I think somebody said they're going to be like the Cinderella team. Although I don't know how, I mean,
You can't root
Abilene-
against Iona.
well, them and Abilene Christian. Is,
Yeah, like there are so many like good underdogs to pick.
Yes. Diane's looking at us.
Yeah, I
like,
have nothing to contribute to this conversation. I know that the ball is orange. That's about as far as I go.
Hey, there you go.
And that's that's where I started years ago. The ball is orange and you dribble it. Now, I still have trouble when sometimes I'm yelling it. And I was like, that is not a double dribble. And somebody's like, yes, it was. I was like, well, you know
yeah,
what?
I have a hard time with fouls. I'm like, wait, how did that work? Yeah, I'm not very good with
Oh,
that.
my
But I
gosh.
just had to bring that up because I've been watching the tournament. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie, in my office I have like that 2 computer screens. I'm working on one, and
You're multitasking.
I'll be yelling in the
Oh my gosh.
yelling at the other one, and then I get home and I'm yelling at the TV, and my husband looks at me. He's like,
See,
"Are
that's
you?"
too intense. That is
Yeah,
too much for me.
he's like, "Do you have money on the game?" And I'm like, "No, but I
It's a
have
good
a bracket,
thing.
and I'm not doing well."
Oh, my bracket.
Oh
It's
my
done.
gosh.
It's pretty much all red all red.
I think I saw a thing that there are 0 perfect brackets. Like normally right now there's like 1 or 2 still out there. There's 0 perfect brackets.
Well, what were you telling me earlier about UNC?
So UNC, Roy Williams has never lost a first round game in March Madness until this year.
Interesting.
So I guess in all of his coaching, it was like 29-1 now.
Wow.
So it's a crazy year all around. And Duke hasn't this is the first time they haven't made the tournament in, I'm not even going to pretend to know the amount of years, but it's a lot.
Is this something that you could blame on COVID? Like, what has it done to everything?
I mean, I think like for Virginia Tech, we had not played a game in 30 days. Or we had played 4 games in 40. It was some crazy. So there were long stretches where people weren't playing because they had COVID-related issues. The other team had COVID, so the games got canceled. UVA couldn't finish the ACC tournament because of COVID.
And they actually were not even allowed to practice the whole week leading up to the tournament. So they literally got there the night before, I think, and had to play the next day.
Yeah, I saw. They said they had to practice that night, and then they could practice one time in the morning or something. So it's a lot of restrictions, but I think it's also just made it a little bit more crazy. Like it's just kind of dependent on who has the strength and who doesn't.
Not that I'm making excuses before somebody wants to call in and talk to me about us losing, being the first number 1 seed to lose to UMBC. I know I was there. I was yelling at my TV, and I was, but I'm still a fan. But
I guess that's why they call it March Madness, right?
Yes. So anyway, we digressed a lot into that. Sorry.
And I'm just sitting here wondering where the sun went today.
So anyway, back to business.
Are we?
Is that why we're here?
That's why we're here. Because none of that's really, well, it's kind of local. I mean, it's local basketball.
It affects local people.
It does.
So
it affected me.
Yes.
My mood has been deeply affected.
Diane's is weather related. Yours is basketball related.
So anyway, I'm going to turn this over to Diane now so we can chat about some of our new members for the CVABC.
New members, yes. So Inspired to Enhance. It is owned by Allison Duvall Cartwright, and I had the pleasure of talking with her in a lengthy conversation the other day, and she is a phenomenal woman. She's got a salon that's very upscale. It's on Apperson Drive in Salem, and she is opening a second location in Lexington, and her grand opening is April 16th. And it's pretty much an all-day event. But we'll be doing the ribbon cutting there in Lexington on the 16th at noon. So she does styling, coloring, blowouts, extensions, the whole works. So check her out. Check her out on Facebook. And she has a website as well. Jump Into Mystery. They're new.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm excited. I'm excited about Jump Into Mystery.
Yes. Sabrina East.
I'm gonna jump into some of the things that she has. Yeah, I think it's awesome.
So if you're not familiar with it, I'm just going to read you real quick because I can't do it justice. So I'm just going to read you what it says on her Facebook page. It's a unique experience. It isn't a mystery dinner because people don't sit and watch. They move around, laugh, talk, eat, and drink. When a guest arrives at one of these events, they enter another world and become characters, roles they will sustain for the length of the event. They ask questions of each other, find clues, and buy or sell information using fake money. In the end, they will decide who committed the crime, the motive, and the method. And you can schedule these events at restaurants, breweries, wineries, parties. You could just have a party, team building events.
So it's sort of like Clue in a way.
Yeah.
So it's like Colonel Mustard in the
I'm
library.
obsessed with true crime, like a little bit like scary obsessed with it. So that sounds really.
Yeah.
So do you just? So how do you just book them and then you book like the venue to or your wherever your venue is? You just that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get her at a restaurant at Smith Mountain Lake. Hint, hint. Jake's Place. But yeah, so she's got a Facebook page, Jump Into Mystery. So check that out.
That would be a cool collaborative thing to do with us and Amherst.
I would
like
love
the
it.
chamber. We could get our group together and do like a fun mystery date.
Yeah.
And that
I'm all there.
Yeah, that would be fun.
My stomach is growling. I'm sorry.
I'll also mention that she does have, for any of you that are wanting to look for something fun to do this Friday night, and I'm signing up. She is doing a Trivia of the Decades virtual trivia night.
Fun.
And you sign up, I think it's $15, and your whole family can play off of like one, Zoom link. So if you're kind of looking for something to do if you're at home and you're not watching basketball because all our teams are out, sign up, because I think I'm going to. I love trivia nights. I think those are so much fun.
I have a lot of useless knowledge.
Trivia nights. So I saw that Mission House Coffee is doing a Schitt's Creek trivia night.
Oh, yes.
That
yes.
is one of my favorite TV shows.
Love that
Talk
show.
about obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show. I don't know if I would get any questions right, though. But go on their Facebook page, because I can't remember the date or anything. But that you said trivia, and that
Yes.
reminded me.
The White Hart downtown in Lynchburg does those as well. I know they did a Gilmore Girls night that I had wanted to attend, but I had something else going on, and I always seem to miss Harry Potter night when anyone does those, because I love Harry Potter.
I have never, I don't even know. I've never seen
Did
it.
you hear both gasps?
I know. I'm just going to move over to the corner. I'm going to move over to the corner by myself.
Oh, I love Harry
I'm on my own island today.
Well, Jump Into Mystery, yes, definitely check them out. And then Inspire to Enhance. She's also participating in the Gauntlet. Mm-hmm. I'm not so sure Jump Into Mystery isn't either. I'm not sure on that one, but I know Amber is. So, and again, I know I've talked about the Gauntlet before, but it's a program through the Advancement Foundation in Roanoke that does these really cool ways of getting entrepreneurs and businesses together and to learn more about how they can grow and build, and it's a really cool program.
Yeah. So can we recap real quick about Bedford and Bloom?
Oh yes, let's.
Because that was a fantastic event.
It was a lot of fun, and it was so nice to see so many people out and about on a Saturday morning.
Yep.
And happily just walking the streets and visiting business.
Everybody was excited. The farmers market was phenomenal. I mean, they had music, food truck, so many cool vendors.
They had little baby goats.
Oh, see, I didn't even get down there to see
Yeah,
that.
they had baby goats.
Did you take one home?
No.
Put it in a trunk?
Maybe that's why your mood is the way it is, Diane, is you didn't get a baby goat.
Train.
Here it comes. The train is coming through. So for those who have listened before, you know what the train means. And I know there are some of you that are out there listening that have not called in to win the train. So make sure you call in. The train is sponsored by Brown's Heating and Air, because nothing can stop a train. So for all of your HVAC needs, contact Brown's Heating and Air. And if you want to call in because you heard the train and you want to win your $10 gift certificate to Liberty Station Restaurant, please call 540-712-6221. I'm going to give the correct number this time. Last week I gave everybody the wrong number, and so who knows who they were calling. But call us and find out if you are the winner of the train gift certificate. And now, back to what we were.
Yes, so Bedford and Bloom. I mean, we had carriage rides. That was provided by Triple F Farm. It's Stormy and Marshall Kofer. Stormy Shelton and Marshall Kofer. And it's just fun, and Christy with Envy Salon and Callie Peterson that is opening up Bridge Street Studios. They presented the idea to us, and, we collaborated with them to host this event, and it was perfect weather.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
was. It was really nice.
You lucked out in the weather.
So, I mean, look for more things happening in downtown Bedford coming in the next few months, maybe second Saturdays. I was talking to someone this morning, and I know that the Farmers Market does second Saturdays along with The Well, who is now located on South Bridge Street. So maybe there will be some more carriage rides for people to sign up and bring their families out to.
Yeah, I got great feedback from a lot of our businesses that, I mean, they even ran out of eggs quicker than they thought. Because I had one business that had 100 eggs, and they said I thought if we have 100 kids come through, it'll be a good day.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah.
I was out of that like within the first, 15, 20 minutes. We had so
Wow.
many kids coming through. So it was a lot of fun, and I think it was what you could definitely tell it was something that was needed. Like
Yeah.
the families wanted to get out, and everyone was still being respectful. They were still socially distancing. They were still wearing masks, all that great stuff. So yeah. Okay. So I'm really excited because we now have Dave McCormick is going to be with us, and we are going to be talking to him about Waukesha development and all that they have going on in our area. And Dave, are you with us?
I am here.
Hello, Dave. How are you doing today?
Can you hear me? Hey, I'm
Yeah.
doing great.
We can hear you. We had the train going through, so it was kind of loud right there for a second. But
Oh, yeah, I was wondering what that was.
so we're so excited to have you on with us today, and we wanted to talk with you about all the different projects that you have going on, specifically the new Cardinal Rule. We were here when y'all did the groundbreaking a couple of weeks ago, and then also some of the
Yeah.
projects in Amherst.
Sure.
So I kind of wanted to
I
ask
would be happy to talk to her.
Great. Well, I kind of wanted to ask a quick question before we get into it. One of the things I want to know is I know y'all specialize in historic preservation of buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So what is something what
Yeah.
are you looking for when you go out into the different towns and cities? What is it that you're looking for in a building to renovate?
Well, honestly, it's a little even more high level than that. I mean, I think a lot about story and what's the story of the place that we're going into it. What's the bigger picture? Because you can fix a building up. It's not hard for us at this point to fix a building up, but there has to be a bigger connection for it to make sense for us. And and I think specifically about Bedford or even Amherst, but picking Bedford, right? I was actually in Roanoke back in, I want to say 2008 or 7, and I was on a bike trip, and I actually rode through the town of Bedford, and it was interesting to me that how connected it was in this kind of web of things when you think about Smith Mountain Lake or the mountains and ecotourism and all the potential that was out there. It was not necessarily connected at the time, but I could see the connection that could be made. And I remember, making a decision early to buy some buildings there. And a lot of people I know in the business are like as happens a lot, like, what are you thinking? Like, why would you do a project there? What's going on? I've been hearing that honestly for as long as I've been doing this and been in this business. We're always kind of looking for opportunities that maybe are overlooked, and I don't know that they're overlooked for people that live in that town, but from the development standpoint, you don't see a whole lot of others doing what we're doing in those areas, and that's what it is. A lot of developers are followers. Right? They're thinking about, well, what's the market? What are the numbers? And what can I get when I do X? We don't think that way. We're thinking about the story and how can we contribute to the story, and what will that ultimately create in terms of the future of the space. So when I thought about Bedford, it made all the sense in the world to me because I could tell that story. It was compelling. I could tell it to potential tenants, or I could tell it to my customers if we created a brewery there. And it didn't make sense to the larger community, but it's funny now looking back, it does now. It seems pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw another developer come in with an apartment project proposed, and I thought that's amazing news. The market has been set, the story's being told, and that's kind of how we approach the business.
I love that. And I love your vision because what you've done here, specifically, I'm speaking of Bedford, is just amazing. The lofts, Beals, and then now what you're doing with the Cardinal Rule. I think it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you look at
Yeah, I mean,
sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh, it's, yeah, and we have a lot of fun doing it. I mean, I think these opportunities are like I think specifically at the hotel, right? We've never done a hotel, but I've stayed in lots of them, and and maybe I'm very opinionated about some of that stuff, and I don't mean that in a kind of a jerky way. I just think I feel good about how I think it should be, and the things I like, and how approachable it should be, and how it should feel, and that kind of stuff. And we want to employ those opinions and those observations in a place like Bedford, and try to make it really special and do it a little different than we've seen it before, and try to let our ideas kind of run a little wild there.
So I know with Cardinal Rule, you're having it's going to have a boutique hotel. For those people that
Yes.
don't know what a boutique hotel is, can you kind of explain what that concept is?
Sure. Well, it's as opposed to what we would think about it being under a flag or a brand of like a Hilton, or God knows there's so many out there, where they have a specific, very methodical way that they do their brand and how the customers experience those things. A boutique hotel is, theoretically supposed to be a one-off and a very unique experience. I think of it as like a highly branded experience where a customer might go there and it's the only place you would have that experience, versus like a Hilton where you could go anywhere in the world and have the Hilton experience. What I'm thinking about in Bedford is like, okay, well, what is that experience? It's not just going in and being in the room. It's how we would communicate with the customers, how the customer would interact with even beyond the walls of the hotel. How can we be really more of a concierge to the customer who comes through? How can we show them the Bedford that we know, and the region that we know, so when they come here, they're having a much bigger, unique, amazing experience? That's how I think about the hotel. The hotel should ultimately be a conduit for the larger experience, and a way to tell that bigger story. That's how we're approaching this thing. I'm not saying all boutique hotels are successful at that, but I do think that is what they ultimately try to do.
I know that when y'all first were mentioning something about the hotel, I had some people go, why does Bedford need a hotel? What's the point of that? And I think most people don't understand just how much Bedford has to offer, not specifically in just the town. I mean, while we have the town, we have shops and we have boutiques, and now there's Beals, but just even on the outskirts of the town of Bedford, with the D-Day Memorial and the Peaks of Otter and the wineries and even Smith Mountain Lake, there is a need for people to come here, and even find a resting place in between Roanoke and Lynchburg that's not as bustling and busy. So I think, having a hotel here is a really fantastic idea.
Absolutely.
It makes no sense that there's no hotel in that town. And I'm not, I mean, there is obviously like a Super 8 outside of there, but some kind of branded experiential thing. I know when I first was coming to Bedford, I was looking for a hotel. I think it does have a lot to offer. The fact that there's that one up on the peaks is telling, right? I mean, It really says, hey, people want to experience that. They get a lot of business. They do well. And the fact that we could kind of bring that into town, I'm really surprised that here we are in 2021 even asking that question, or that it is in question. It shouldn't be. And I think a hotel ultimately is a lot of times it's the glue. It's the reason people come to and start experiencing the place. Without it, a lot of people might pass it right by. And I think to ask the question really is failing to see the forest for the trees and not realizing all that is going on, or the potential that a place really has.
Well, I'd be remiss if we moved over to the Amherst side without bringing up the fire that happened at the middle school a little over a year ago.
Sure.
And I know that my children attended middle school, and most everyone here probably that grew up in this town either attended middle school there or in the old Yeller building beside it, or and it meant a lot to the town to see it go up in flames. I know I came and helped bring coffee to the fire, the first responders that were there. But can you kind of just tell us on your end, like, when you heard that had happened, kind of what your first thoughts were? And I know you guys maintained immediately that this was not going to deter you from, building there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just devastating. I was actually in Petersburg. I got the call. It was like 3:30 in the morning or whatever. And, I've had fires happen before. It's really unfortunate that in a way it comes a little bit with the territory of assuming ownership or control of abandoned buildings that have, there's just all sorts of people that I always say they're kind of under siege in a way from, lots of different people who just want to get in. They want to do this stuff and do damage or just, whatever it is. And it happens. And so, in this particular case, it's one of the reasons I try not to take ownership of a building before we're ready to develop it. In this particular case, this is the way the chronology went. And it's, unfortunately what happened, but it's really devastating that, that the town had actually kept that building up really well. It was in beautiful condition. And, that is, and now, it's in the state that it's in. But that being said, that's the beauty of historic tax credits. And the facade was saved. That's the biggest, I would say, accomplishment that it might seem counterintuitive, but that's the big accomplishment to me of the fire department, that they saved the facade, because that thing still being there allows us to actually keep moving forward and build behind it and get the tax credits. I was hoping that night when I heard that, and I was watching on the news before I drove out there, that they would get it and it would only be in a little part and it wouldn't take the whole thing down. But it's also interesting to, just from a dispassionate architectural standpoint, that those old buildings were never built to be with fire stopping and some of the important things we do today. And that's why that fire spread so wildly. It went right through the cavity of that ceiling and just took it all the way down. But so it really, it's just a horrible day. And it's been a really tough year, overcoming something like that. It's, we're talking about an 11, 12, that's what it was. And we're like a $17 million project at this point in a town of 6,000 people on a campus of buildings like that. It's absolutely like climbing Everest to actually bring that thing back. But we're here. We just closed on the loan. We have an amazing banking partner. We have great historic tax credit partners. We have a great team, great architectural team, and the engineers. And so we're here now, and we've started on the project. You can see the demo happening. We're getting ready to frame, but we're just bring that thing back. We're determined to do it. We've had to make some tweaks to the financials and the density in there. Not much, but to make it work financially. And I actually really commend the town council for being so thoughtful and progressive and a great partner on this project with us, because without them, this couldn't really move forward.
So our organization also covers businesses in Amherst. And then we also have Katie with the Amherst County Chamber with us today as well. And so we thought we would also highlight some of the great projects you have going on in Amherst.
Yeah, Dave, you were mentioning, bringing a school back from kind of ruins, and that's what you all have kind of done with the Phelps Road School in Madison Heights. And I know you guys are getting close to opening those up to be leased very soon.
Yeah, we're in what we call the final inspection stage right now. So the project is mostly complete. We're making a few tweaks to satisfy the code official there, but we will be open for business there, mid-April, and then for sure, leasing apartments May 1st. So that's been an awesome project. I know a lot of people thought they couldn't get done. It was under threat of being bulldozed for a long time. The previous owner there there was almost like a demolition by neglect thing happening there. So, and I think a lot of people lost faith, not just in that particular owner, but developers in general. You know, a lot of times the word developer is almost be like a 4-letter word, you know, and we've often looked for alternatives to that. We don't hate being grouped into that, you know, demographic sometimes, but we were able to do it. It's a very complicated, very expensive project. We spent around $6.5 million on that thing. There again, we did use historic state and federal tax credits. We had a DEQ remediation grant, which was awesome. And we had the partnership of the county. I cannot stress enough how important that is, you know, to have folks like Dean, the county administrator, being a partner, and folks like Claudia on the Board of Supervisors and the rest of the folks on there. So important, and to be sort of friendly and helpful and progressive and thoughtful, all those things, because there's no way I could do this myself. So we, and there again, great banking partners, Virginia Community Capital, all folks who want to see development in what we call underserved areas. And, you know, sometimes it's like underserved from a development standpoint, but once you set that market, I strongly believe that will be a really successful project. And then other developers, other appraisers can come in and see there is a market, there are market rents, there is business happening. Really important for lots of reasons, not just for that building. So I'm excited about that. We're getting ready to lease there. We'll have an open house on or about maybe the 13th or the 14th of April. We're still scheduling that, but we'll let everybody know. But yeah, we're ready to show it off. It looks amazing. We've rebranded that school as what we call the Westie. The Westie shorthand for West Highland Terrier. We want it to be a pet-friendly apartment complex. We have that dog park in the back now, which was the kind of the derelict ball field. And we're trying to take, as we do with a lot of these projects, take all the assets, what's the big story, all of the things around that area, and try to tell a bigger story to draw people in. And I'm really excited about that project, but for the same reason, I'm excited about Amherst in general. I feel like I personally have made this, for myself, this discovery of this county, which a lot of people obviously have known about, but I only recently in the last 3-4 years have come to it, and I think it's amazing. There's all this untapped potential. I think it's in a great location, and that's what we're doing with some of these other projects as well.
I know when I came to the Amherst County Chambers dinner that you spoke at, I believe it was last year or year before last, we were talking about the mill.
2 years, I
Yeah,
think.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was really excited to see what you were doing with the mill, but even more so, Winton Farm. And I just want to bring that up because I actually have, my husband's grandparents live like 2 roads down from Winton Farm. And so I always pass by it. And we've actually been there before for like Christmas dinners that the Ruritan Club has held there.
Mhm.
And so I was really interested when I heard it was up for sale.
My first job was at Winton.
So yeah, so
Oh, wow.
and y'all are keeping that as a golf course and, you know, sort of like that country club feel, but I know y'all have the bed and breakfast that y'all have renovated there, the pool house, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When we took over the property, I think you know, everyone thinks about it like a country club or a golf course, and I think there's a lot of questions. Like people are like, do you play golf? And I don't. You know, like, this whole thing, like I would have to be a golfer type person to buy a golf course. I don't look at it like that at all. I think that is a beautiful property that has incredible potential. It's got a historic mansion and these 40,000 square foot of buildings on it, an old barn. And it also happens to have a golf course on it. And that's the way I'm approaching that particular property. And
Nicely put. I like that.
what we have done is, yeah, and so, you know, and it's in an amazing location. I mean, it's being right there on the 151 Beer Trail, right off of 29. I don't know, it couldn't be better, really. And it's one of the few golf courses too that I've seen that doesn't have houses all in along the fairways. It's wide open, so it has this really amazing pastoral beauty and really amazing potential because of that. You're not burdened by an HOA. So I saw that, there clearly were things that we could unwind from a management standpoint and clean up the financials, but there were all this untapped potential on the property. And so we started in small ways doing that, just cleaning up, getting things repositioned, and whatnot. And then we did fix up what we call the pool house. We have that on Airbnb now. I think we have like 40 plus reviews. You can see that. It's getting awesome feedback. People love it. They love the design. They love being out there. And I think that, and we've only been open a little while, half the summer last year, but people have stayed there all through the winter. It's really been awesome. Some of that's pandemic driven, but I really believe that people are starting to discover that place again. And that's the important thing. So we've turned around the business. It is profitable now. It's really awesome. We're now working on the manor house. We've been doing a lot of just the basic improvements out there, but we have a designer out of Charlottesville coming down, and we're doing the bedrooms and bathrooms upstairs so people can start to stay there. We had our first wedding last year. So we're doing all this kind of stuff out there to improve the balance sheet and create value outside of that golf course. And then we have some longer term plans there. And some of that's going to be really kind of market driven. When we made our deal with the county, we talked about senior housing. We talked about hospitality. We talked about brewery stuff. But we've also been very open in saying, look, we need to assess the market as we approach each of those things. We don't want to do something in a vacuum only to find that that's not what the market wanted, or, hey, it's going to cost X and people can only afford Y. So those things are on the table, as are many other things. It's interesting. A lot of people don't know there's a 17-acre cutover on that property all the way down to the right if you're going down 151. And it was cut. Those big old growth trees were cut at the time to create income for the club. And, in retrospect, I'm not, whether or not that was a good idea, I can't say. I wasn't there. But now we've been left with this 17-acre field of stumps. I'm trying to see that as an asset. I'm thinking about bike trails. I'm thinking about four-wheel drives. I'm thinking about sort of, what could happen out there that would be one more thing to compel someone to come to Winton and enjoy their stay. We had the international foot golf tournament there last year, or whenever that was. It was amazing. People came from all over the place. We had a couple hundred foot golfers, which is people kicking a soccer ball like they would a golf ball. Think all these different ways we can bring people to the property. That's what we're after. It's not just about the golf course, but it's about the totality of the experience, about being in Amherst, discovering that place, being just like I said about Boutique Hotel, being the conduit for all the other things there are to discover in that area.
I'm glad you clarified what foot golf was, because I was like, what is that?
I might actually be good at that.
Yeah.
But it does sound interesting. Well, before, I know you're busy, and so we don't want to keep you much longer. But before you go, I do want to congratulate you guys and Beals for winning our Restaurant of the Year award through our organization. We presented that last week, and so I'm going to be taking your award for that over to Beals this week.
Well, I can't tell you how much that means to us. Everybody here was so, giddy about it. This has been one of the craziest years of our working lives, and it's hard to overstate the chaos. It's hard to overstate what we've been through. If you're not in the industry and not living it day to day, it's hard to express it to somebody how insane this year has been. It has been an absolute roller coaster ride of emotions. It's been a roller coaster ride of trying to pivot almost every day, reacting to whether what was happening, from coming down from the governor's office, what was happening with our specific employees coming down with things, reacting to customers who some are amazing and supportive, some are completely not. And it got very political. It got very chaotic. It got sometimes insane. And so I have to tell, we just had a meeting on Friday, and I had to say, it was like a year to the day. And I'm so amazingly proud of our team. We didn't lay a single person off. Our 2020 financially was better than 2019, and we've lost like 6-7 weeks totally with the closure. And I actually look now at some of the things that are going on. I don't know if you've seen some of the recent events, but we've responded. Our team has, it's not me, it's our team has responded in a way that has given us this explosive growth into 2021. We had just like the last couple of weekends for us were incredible. It's drawing people out to that area because of Beals. And when I think about receiving an award like that, it's really something that has come to represent for us this crazy year we've been through. And I thank you all for that. And I want you to know how much that means to me and our entire staff. We're super proud of it, super proud of being here after what we've been through. And we could not be more excited to be in Bedford and jumping into 2021. It's going to be amazing.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your time. I know you are super busy with all the projects that you guys have going on right now. So, I think that it was great to have you on so that people could hear, what is getting ready to happen. I know a lot of people had some questions about the Cardinal Rule, and then just to let people kind of see what's going on with the Amherst. I know y'all, the mill is going to be doing that's a part of Trapezium, correct?
It's Camp Trapezium, I think.
Trapezium?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we call that it's our outpost, so to speak. We do a lot of things we're going to be doing a lot off the land, very organic, but we don't talk a lot about the organic part of it. It's just kind of our, retreat. It's like living off the land. We're growing things there. It's just a really beautiful place to be. Very pastoral, very comfortable, zero pretension. And the way we do things out there is going to be a little different in that, like when we make beer, here in Petersburg, we make it on this giant stainless steel 30-barrel system. We pump it out in giant batches. Out there, it'll be more slow, different types of beer made in a different way. We're harvesting yeast off the property. We're making things and growing things off the property. A lot of the ingredients will be hyper local, sometimes regional. We get peaches, for instance, from Ronnie Gross out there in Bedford by just the ton. And so we're really focusing on partnering with local people who do these things really well and celebrating that together. That's what the mill is all about to me. And there again, bringing people from outside Amherst into Amherst and discovering that thing together.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So if you have been listening, we are getting ready to go into our Tuesday takeout trivia, and we do this every week. And so we're actually going to be giving away a gift certificate to Beals today. So whoever calls in will be getting a $10 gift certificate to Beals. And I had to revert back to March Madness for our trivia question of the day.
I'm done.
So Diane is obviously not going to win. But so only one time in tournament history has the 4 number 1 seeds actually made it to the Final Four.
Wow.
So only one time, and it's never happened since. So can anyone tell me what year that happened? So you got to call in, tell me the year. I don't need to know the names of the teams, although I do know who they are. But it is 540-712-6221. And so call in with the answer, and we will have a Beals gift certificate for you. And
we're still waiting on a train caller.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And a train caller.
We had a train. So if you don't know the answer, like me,
You can
call
just
in
say,
anyway, and you
"Train."
can say there was a train.
It was a train. So it was really interesting hearing all the things that they're doing in Bedford and Amherst. And so I'm gonna kind of ask you, Katie, like what I know with the chamber this year, COVID has probably y'all have seen a lot of businesses that have needed help and,
Yep.
and things like that. What do you see like going on in Amherst right now? Are you seeing growth happening?
So yes, there's definitely a lot of growth happening, especially with the new introduction of the projects that Waukesha was talking about, and there's some other housing projects going on in that area. But we're seeing a lot of businesses kind of reinvent themselves and get more social media acclimated, social selling, doing all of those things to kind of step outside of the brick and mortar. That's been hard for some of our businesses, and but in Amherst we are seeing things to start picking up. Amherst is kind of it's kind of an enigma. We are very rural still in a lot of parts of the county, but we also have some of our larger scale manufacturers there. And we're starting to kind of fill in. It's funny when you come from one end of the county to the other. Like you start in Madison Heights, and it's definitely more commercialized, and then you kind of get out there where we are in the town, and it's definitely still the small town feel of things. So a lot of different things going on, but we are seeing a lot of growth, and we're excited about the mill. That's kind of literally right in our backyard. The county has now cleared off some trees, so you can literally drive right past us at the depot and end up right at the mill. So it's going to be nice, and we're excited about I still call it Phelps Road School. That's where my dad went to elementary school. So a lot of things happening. We have some great wineries out there.
Yes, you do.
So things are going to start. I think Amherst is going to it like Dave said. There's a lot of untapped potential in Amherst, and I'm hoping that we kind of ride this wave of people finding out about it.
Very cool.
You mentioned wineries, 'cause I know Rebec is a new member of y'all's.
Yes,
I love
Rebec is.
I hope they're going to get to have the garlic
I
festival.
know, I do too. That's so much fun. And we have Rebec, and then we have Lazy Days right there close. And then a little bit off the beaten path is Anketa Ridge. And it is absolutely beautiful.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's like if you're if you're in the town and you go past the circle, it's probably 20-ish minutes from the circle, but it is literally in God's country. My mom was like raised on it's a dirt road leading up. Like it's you're in a different, but the wine is great. They have a beautiful tasting room. And they're wonderful. They work with us at the chamber, and they're kind of something that Dave said that I think is crucial, and I'm sure you all see it too, is encouraging businesses similar to yours in the area, in that kind of theory of a rising tide lifts all ships.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Christine and her team at Anketa Ridge definitely embrace that and are always working to, kind of wrap arms with everybody else and kind of get the job done.
I can't believe I've never been there.
You need to come.
Should be there this weekend.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
Tomorrow.
Hey, Saturday's going to be
Take off.
beautiful. So
I don't know that they're going to be showing basketball, though, so you might need to plan around.
yeah.
Well, ain't nobody in there I want to watch now.
Do we have any callers yet, Woody? See, it's the basketball. Ask another question.
Y'all can Google. If we don't get a winner before the end of the show, we do encourage you, if you know the answer, go to our Facebook page and put the answer there. And then next week we'll announce who our winner is. And I'll redo the trivia question before we go. But definitely want to make sure we get a winner for the gift certificate. So, But yeah, I may leave right now and go. Where is it? Anketa Ridge?
Anketa Ridge. I can give you detailed direction.
Yeah, we love going up like the 151 trail and because the breweries. I think that's why I think would be a great road trip for myself and Diane, because she would love the breweries and then I could do the wineries.
Yeah, Nelson has done an amazing job with 151 and all of that, and I think it's been about 20 years in the making, but now they're really reaping the benefits of that.
They are. I drove up there, what was it, Sunday? I drove through there.
Mhm.
I wasn't brewery hopping, unfortunately. I was waving as I drove by, but it was a beautiful day. A little nippy, but that's okay. So I rolled the windows down and you could smell like barbecue. You could smell people having fun.
Next time you go up there, there's a little hole in the wall called the Blue Ridge Pig. And they have
I don't know if I saw
amazing
that.
barbecue, but they also get a turkey croissant.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It's such a little good hole in the wall.
Yeah. I think I said the other day on Facebook that 122 going towards Big Island would make a really good 151.
Yeah. I mean,
Good.
they have done
It
like a
really
really good
would.
job. I mean, I'm constantly like riding roads in Amherst and would be like, this would be a great 151.
Yeah, somebody get on that. Somebody listening, you know,
Yeah.
you have some extra money to spend.
Yeah, call us. We can help you out.
Yeah.
Yep. And don't forget, I mean, if we're going to keep going into the wine stuff, Bedford Wine Trail has an also great opportunity along our area to visit. And I know a lot of people are trying to do that. They're trying to get out
Yeah.
right now and visit places where they can be outdoors
Yes.
Yeah.
and still have, fun and be with family. And
Yeah.
I think in the next few weeks, we're going to just see tourism bustling in like all the counties around here.
And that's great. And that's one thing I think has been kind of unique for the pandemic is all of the places in Central Virginia really do offer those sorts of activities and places. And so it's kind of been nice to see them get a little bit of recognition.
Yeah, definitely.
Food drive. Do you want to?
Yes.
Yes.
That started today, right?
Yes. So we are working. So at the chamber, one thing that we have really kind of embraced is our school system. And Dr. Rob Arnold, our superintendent, sits on our board. And one of my first days that I started at the chamber, I went into his office and just started talking to him about what can we help with? Like, what kind of connections? And so we have really embraced workforce development at the chamber, but also with that, we have really embraced the community. And Amherst Cares is a wonderful nonprofit in Amherst County that helps to feed food. Gosh, I can't even think of the word. I'm blanking now. My Diet Dr. Pepper
See?
hasn't set in. You and I are on the
Pop
same
that fireball.
wavelength. Yes. And so we are helping with underserved students. And what they do is they give bags of food on Friday afternoons so that the student has something all through the weekend and any spring break. And so that's what we're coming up on. We're coming up on spring break. So we're running a food drive until next Wednesday, I believe. Don't double check me on that one. But so we can get that to them in time. And they have a wonderful organization and they help through the summertime and any break. And they do it very discreetly. So it's not a big, the kids feel very safe and it's just tucked away in their backpack. And so it's a wonderful thing. It's
That
near
is
and
really
dear.
cool.
Yeah, so we have two drop-off locations. One is at the depot right there in the town of Amherst. Yellow building, can't miss us. And then the other is Loose Shoe Brewery. And Loose Shoe is asking if you bring in, they'd like one item from every kind of section in there. But if you bring in a bag of goodies, they are giving you a coupon for a mega flight.
Yes.
so-
I like Loose Shoe.
Loose Shoe is a
Yes, I
great
do.
place. We love Darren and Kitty are great. They are very supportive members. So just stop by Loose Shoe, and we have on our Facebook page you can see the list of things that they need, all non-perishable foods, so that they can tuck those away in the backpacks and get them to the kids. And so we're really looking forward to that and hoping that it'll be a great success.
That's amazing. I get a lot of people that ask me how our organizations are different from the chamber,
Yeah.
and I think you kind of touched on a little bit of it when you were talking about how heavy you guys are into like the workforce development
Yeah.
and things like that. And that's not something we're not big into the economic development. We're not helping to bring large business, where I know you guys have worked a lot with some of these larger
Yeah.
businesses. Our focus is more on that small entrepreneur, those types of businesses. So
Right.
I think, it's good to see or for those that are listening, how we collaborate
Yes.
and work together.
Yeah, I mean, we cherish our partnership with you all, and I think you did touch on it. We can get a little bit more I don't want to say into the community, but kind of in there and kind of get, different things working. I'm afforded that which my board supports, and it's wonderful, workforce development and community engagement and things like that. And we, a lot of our members overlap, and we've done a lot of things, we've done some membership drives together and things like that. And I think being a part of a chamber and an organization like yours, you kind of get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So I know some people look at them as like competing, but I think it's spreading the wealth and helping, and we help different parts of the business.
Absolutely.
I love that.
I do too. We always say
And you
that.
guys didn't pay me to say that at
No.
all.
I know.
I see, and now I'm not going to go back into her office and put a UVA sign on her Virginia
She
Tech
did.
cup like I did
She
last
did.
time. I left her a little present when she was out of the office. one day.
I did a virtual career fair the other day, and I was talking about it, and I made sure my Virginia Tech mug was proudly displayed.
That's funny. So speaking of, sorry, did I interrupt you?
Nope.
Speaking of workforce, I do want to put out there some places that have job openings. Liberty Station here in the town of Bedford is desperately needing servers. So if you want a side job, or if you have teenagers, send them their way. You can actually go to their Facebook page and apply there. I actually clicked on it today, and it pulled up all my information, and I was like, oh, wait, back out. But they're a fantastic restaurant here in the town of Bedford. Always busy, great group of people. Jake's Place out at Smith Mountain Lake is looking for kitchen help. Line cooking between $12 and $17 an hour. Bye, Heather. No, I'm just kidding.
See you later.
I can't cook. But yeah, so Jake's Place is Smith Mountain Lake. If it's right there on the water. It's a beautiful place. Fantastic people there. I know all of them personally, so make sure you check them out. Something Else Boutique.
Yes, I just saw her post today. She's looking
Yeah.
for help.
Yeah, and her second location at Valley View Mall in Roanoke. Somebody's calling you, Heather.
Sorry.
She is looking for weekend help between 15 and 20 hours.
So there are job opportunities out there.
Yeah, I
so-
know. Just to plug, ITG in Madison Heights
Yes.
is looking.
Yeah.
They are actively looking.
Business
love-
administrator, right?
Business administrator.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Great place to work.
Yeah.
Awesome folks.
So if any of you are listening and you have a business and you need to hire some people, let us know. Go to our Facebook page at Talk Local to Me and send us a message, and we'll put it out there for you.
So before we sign off today, because we've only got a few more minutes, if y'all, I want to kind of close us out with things that you can do this coming week or weekend around the area. And we always try and find local opportunities for the community to get out and be involved. So I just wanted to bring up Chapel Creek Farms. They are open this Saturday. So if you're looking to go and try and get some grass-fed beef, like really good cuts of meat, they're going to be open from 9 to 1, and you can go up there and get your grass-fed beef available by the cut or the pound. And you can check out their Facebook page or website for directions on how to get up there. Ice Cream You Scream. They are one of our members that does ice cream. They just officially opened back up
So exciting.
for the season. Yeah, ice cream. And they have just some fantastic flavors. And I know my daughter loves it because they actually also have lactose-free things that you can purchase because she can't have regular ice cream. And so she loves going there,
That's
and they
awesome.
have those opportunities there. And then two things in Amherst. So I know Second Stage Amherst
Yes.
is doing virtual art classes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of your members, Keller Williams, they're doing a
They are. So it's a
Drive-through?
drive-through Easter egg, and you basically come and you get a bag of Easter eggs that you can then take to your house, and they're full of goodies. And that is Friday and Saturday, and I believe it's 5 to 7 on Friday, and then 10 to 12 on Saturday at Keller Williams.
yes.
Fun.
So that's fun. And there's a lot of other Easter events going on. I couldn't pull them all out, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of churches offering Easter activities. I know one place, Macaroni Kid, I go to that a lot to look up
Mm-hmm.
events happening. So I highly encourage you to check
Yeah.
that out.
They've
Yeah,
got a
website.
site for Lynchburg and Roanoke.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think that is it for us
That
today. I think
is.
we've done a lot of talking local from Bedford to Amherst.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening, everyone.
Make sure to join in next week. We are going to have Miss Virginia 2020, Camille Schreier, on with us. And we're going to be talking with her about all the opportunities that she's had in the past couple of years, the past year with that.